I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find a way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. The weight of the world crushes me down. Fear and uncertainty all around. But I deep find inner strength to face the trials length by length. A way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes, like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my heart reborn. I've walked through fire and emerged scarred, but wiser, stronger, and unmarred. My existence is a test of will, of trials overcome, of a soul laid bare. The weight of the world above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Oh, made bold. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my spirit unborn. Day to day, nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace.
Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Post-Show Rewind for September the 9th, 2025. I'm Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, here with Little Molly Holly, the long-haired chihuahua, my furry co-pilot. All right, guys, it is just going to be us tonight breaking down NXT with y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Some last-minute changes, guys, but next week's NXT Homecoming, and we should have a packed studio for NXT next week. But tonight, it is just going to be myself and my long-haired canine companion here, little Molly Holly. And guys, had a lot happen tonight. Fun show. I mean, next week's, it's homecoming. It almost kind of felt like a mini go-home show tonight. There was a lot of action, some great in-ring stuff, some surprise appearances, so a lot to cover. But before we can get to all of the goodness tonight, I gotta give the shout out to the us on the web. That is dirtsheetradio.com for all of your pop culture, professional wrestling, entertainment needs. Check it out. Make it your homepage. Look at it multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated, but because we love to do it. But guys, NXT, great show tonight. I say that every week, really, don't I? But I mean, it's how I feel about it. I think it is a great show every week. Um, but tonight's program, it began as most. Oh, where are you going, Molly? Laying down. Okay. It began as most episodes of NXT do, especially when from the Performance Center. We are shown talent walking into the venue as Vic kind of talks down talks through what is to come on tonight's program. Whatever there, Molly. Okay. And on tonight's program, we did have several matches announced. We had Javon Evans taking on Josh Briggs. Faby Apache taking on Lainey Reid in a women's speed tournament match. A flag match featuring All Ego Ethan Page and Tavion Heights, and the main event to determine the number one contender for the women's tag team championship. We had ZaRuca, Fatal Influence, and the Culling all going. I can't really say one-on-one. It's 2-on-2-on-2. But it's triple threat elimination match. But hey, we'll get there when we get there. As I said, one of this evening's announced matches was to be Javon Evans taking on Josh Briggs. And the young OG came out with a lot of fire and fury here, grabbing a mic, calling Josh Briggs out. And Josh Briggs answered relatively quickly here. And they brawled for a moment before the match officially began, but once the two were in the ring, we had the bell, and our first match was underway. This was a pretty back and forth. A lot of close power spots here with Josh Briggs trying to choke slam Javon Evans through the table on the outside. Javon with a hell of a suicide dive, taking the two of them over the announce table at one point. A lot of fast-paced physical action in this opening match. I like what they're doing here. I want to, as I'm talking about the match here, I would be very remiss if I didn't bring up the several different things that the audience chanted during the match. In pertaining to Josh Briggs, there was, of course, a Briggs, you suck chant. Classic. The Briggs go away singing. That was one. They're into singing a lot lately. I swear, after WWE is on these European tours, some of the American audiences are really into the singing as well. But that's how the Briggs go away, Briggs go away. There was a loud bouncy chant for Javon as the crowd rallied behind the young OG, hoping to press him towards victory here tonight. But Josh Briggs, as it wasn't looking too good for him during the match, he slides outside the ring, grabs the chair, brings it in. This causes a bit of distraction as the referee's getting the chair out of the ring. Briggs takes that chain he was wearing in, pops poor Javon Evans in the face behind the referee's back. Of course, it was behind the referee's back. Otherwise, he would have been DQ'd. But he was not caught doing this. And Josh Briggs gets the 1, 2, 3, steals a win. With that chain from Javon Evans here to a chorus of boos. So great match. Briggs gets the victory here in 12 minutes and 45 seconds. I dig it. Look, Javon's time will come. Javon can take the loss. It's not really going to hurt him too much here, especially considering, Briggs cheated to win. And they continue to pair Briggs against people that are really, really popular. So while I will absolutely say that Josh Briggs is getting one hell of a heel reaction, I can't tell if it's legitimately just because it's Josh Briggs or because it's, who he's being paired against. But I guess that's part of it, right? I mean, people should love a face so much that they're going to boo pretty much anyone across the ring from them. But yeah, so Briggs getting a lot of heat here. Not sure if it's go away heat. I say this every week, but I'm starting to think it's real. I'm starting to just think he's good at what he's doing. I don't know. Tell me how you guys think, but that's where I'm at on it. Yeah, so From there, we head into the backstage area where we had Ava trying to keep some decorum between the NXT champion Obafemi and the number one contender Ricky Saints ahead of their match, which is coming up at No Mercy. Trick Williams bombed into the scene, and he said that he also had some championship business with Oba, so Saints wouldn't understand that. So yeah, solid promo here. I think in some regard, this was to get Obafemi and Ricky Saints on TV tonight. This was the only time we would see Ricky and the NXT champion Obafemi this evening. It wouldn't be the last time we saw Trick tonight, though. Trick would be back very soon, actually. Next segment. But after that backstage bit, we ahead of the break had DIY looking at a poster of themselves happily as we went into the commercial break. As we came back, DIY hit the entranceway and hit the ring. This, I hate saying things paint by numbers when it comes to Ciampa and Gargano, but this was kind of the rah-rah, NXT is our home. We love NXT. We are NXT. We're so happy to be here. We'll be at homecoming. And, yeah. So, from here, sorry, cat guys. It's a zoo in here. Sorry, I get distracted too easily from these guys. One of them runs across the lap. They knock into things. Legos get knocked over. It's a whole mess. Anyway, I digress. As DIY and specifically Ciampa was speaking when this occurred, we had Trick Williams making an interruption and an appearance here, much to Booker T's delight. Whoop that trick. Oh, yeah, man. I like it. Oh, yeah, man. So Trick comes out and he just starts verbally laying into DIY. He says that they are just jealous because their NXT crew can't hang with his NXT crew, which I don't know if that's the case or not, Trick. But Trick said tonight that he was not coming alone. He has backup, and this brought out Carmelo Hayes making his reappearance at NXT. It has been a while. The crowd popped. They were excited to see him back in the Performance Center. And, Mello ended up laying into Trick here quite a bit, talking about all the people that helped build this house. And all Trick was doing was squatting in it. Yeah, some questionable things. And then Trick said he'll squat where he wants to squat, which that is a retort. That is definitely, yeah, he'll squat where he wants to squat, y'all. Yeah. So as this is going on, because here's the thing, Mello's a little angry because I guess he pays attention to what goes on at NXT because he wasn't happy clearly with some of the things that Trick had been saying about him and other past champions. And Williams said that he's been saying some stuff about Hayes recently, as recently as last week, in fact, and that's not right, and he shouldn't have done that. This is where he said that he squats where he wants to squat. Ciampa kind of stirred the pot a little bit here by asking which one of them was the big brother. Gosh, clearly the joke here being that Carmelo Hayes is about a head shorter than Trick Williams. But what are you going to do? But this incensed Mello, and Mello told him to shut his mouth. And the crowd erupted here, and Gargano said that the crowd just wants to see a multi-generational tag team match at NXT Homecoming next week. The Trick and Mello gang taking on DIY. The crowd cheered at this. And, it's always nice getting these announcements like this, but it does take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the crowd. The full sales of the crowd. It takes a little bit of the wind out of their sails when, they're announcing a match for next week. But yeah, so next week we're going to get DIY taking on Trick Williams and Mello. It's going to be a fun show next week. So, like I said, couple surprise appearances tonight. That would not be the only surprise appearance we had this evening. But solid segment. Again, we said this last week, but DIY appearing at NXT, they're different characters pretty much entirely. So, gotta love that. NXT kind of exists in its own bubble, which I'm more or less fine with. It's it is what it is on that. It's developmental, guys. But kind of the rules that apply on the main roster don't necessarily apply back down at the Performance Center. But all right, guys, we took a commercial break from there and back. It was speed tournament time as Lainey Reid made her way to the ring to take on Faby Apache of Triple A, who is going to be taking on Natalya Neidhart this Friday night. So Natty in attendance for that, and that's going to play a role here because as if you already weren't working with enough constraints in a 3-minute match, you also have to interject, some sort of distraction or interference, right? That being said, the match between Lainey Reid and Apache was fantastic here. As fantastic as something can be, lasting less than 3 minutes. Lainey Reid ends up getting the victory here, which I was a little surprised about, to be completely honest. But Lainey picks up the win at the 2-minute 38-second mark after Natalya Neidhart jumps the guardrail and glares at Apache as she was on the top rope, causing enough of a distraction and an opening for Reid to get the victory here. So, updated look here at the tournament. So we'll have Candice LeRae taking on Lainey Reid in the semifinals, and then the winner will be getting that Speed Championship match against ZaRuca at No Mercy. So, again, I've enjoyed the matches that we've gotten in the tournament. I just wish we didn't have that constraint of them having to be 3 minutes. It just, I don't know. There's something about the wrestling, I know, but it hurts the realism here a bit. But what are you going to do? I'm hoping that eventually we can shift into something else from this, where it's not just the 3 minutes, but maybe make it more like the Heritage Cup and do like a few 3-minute rounds or something. Maybe absorb the cup into the. I don't know. I mean, God, the cup hasn't even been on TV for weeks. Where's Stacks? Where's Stacks? Somewhere with Ariana Grace, I guess. Don't tell Santino. He's gonna be a mad. But from there, backstage, we had ZaRuca pumping themselves up for tonight's main event as they ran into Hank and Tank, and they referred to each other as their favorite tag team. And and Hank and Tank was getting pumped up ahead of their tag team title match, which was coming up very, very shortly. But before we could get to that match, we had a vignette for Blake Monroe. The glamour is not done with Jordynne Grace. Blake's lost her ever-loving mind. I guess getting busted open last week has awakened some dark, evil, twisted version of herself now that, she has seen her blood and tasted it. No one makes her bleed her own blood. But yeah, so this was a good vignette. I always think these are well produced, well done. So yeah, we are going to see more of Blake Monroe and Jordynne Grace. This shot, it's almost like a shot from the Dawn of the Dead remake or something. Like I don't know. It screams horror movie. You know what? It's September. It's spooky season. Why the hell not, right? So yeah. But okay, y'all, from there, we were back into the PC where we had Tag Team Gold on the line here. The Dark State making their way to the ring. If you squint there, you can see them. It's very dim, but they do come out there. It's amazing. No one trips walking out there in the darkness. Hank and Tank made their way to the ring after that. And the match was underway. I wasn't expecting Hank and Tank to win here tonight, and that's good. because Hank and Hank did not win here tonight. They weren't going to flip the titles back to them that quickly, if at all. But yeah, the match was solid though. Pretty back and forth. It kind of built to a spot outside the ring where Cutler, where Cutler said Joe Hendry's not going to help you this week, and of course that summoned Joe Hendry, who broke through the wall below the crow's nest in the Performance Center. Joe Hendry's powers of teleportation upon hearing his name uttered through the aether. It's starting to cause minor property damage, and so like he's lucky. I don't think he thought that one through. He could have wound up inside of the wall. Teleportation is tricky. But yeah, so Joe Hendry is here. This it kind of caused a distraction where the referee was looking at Hendry, which allowed Dark State to get the upper hand and the victory and retain the tag team championships here tonight in 10 minutes and 48 seconds. Solid match. It was a little bit of a mess, but that's Dark State style. It's chaos, it's pandemonium. That is kind of what Dark State is, running roughshod. But yeah, so we'll see what we get going forward here, because clearly, there is a lot still between Joe Hendry and the Dark State. Love it. Oh, always love the Joe Hendry appearance. But hey, it's been a while, guys. But we had the return of an NXT Anonymous segment tonight via X, formerly Twitter. But yeah, we had Ethan Page backstage, and he was talking to Miles Bourne and kind of giving him some guff for his loss in the lights out, the blindfold match last week. Yeah, it looks like Ethan Page here is trying to corrupt Miles Bourne in some of his rhetoric here and the way he was speaking to him. But we'll see. This faded from him kind of dressing him down for his loss to Lexis King to Lexis King watching on a tablet him winning last week. And he continued to talk smack to Miles Bourne. And he saw Charlie Dempsey sitting there, and he started to talk down Miles Bourne to Dempsey, saying that, Dempsey knows what it's like, that, Bourne is stubborn, and that, I'm sure that anything you said to him went in, one ear and out the other, so to speak. But yeah, so as he's running him down, we see Miles Bourne appear in the doorway with a chair, saying, "You think we were done, Lexis?" And then he turns off the lights. By the time the lights come back on, Lexis King is laid out on the ground. Bourne, they are holding that chair, and everyone in the room kind of aghast. So I like this. Fine way to do it. I guess they're establishing that Evan Bourne. My goodness, guys, it is getting a little late here in parts unknown Ohio. But sorry, Miles Bourne. I almost feel like they're establishing that Miles Bourne is able to fight in almost like a Daredevil-esque capacity. I don't know, but yeah. So no lights. He beats the tar out of Lexis King. So again, clearly there is more here between Bourne and King, and that's fine. I've enjoyed this program. It's given Lexis King a clear-cut heel role, and people like Miles Bourne, and it's good to give him something to do. He's going to win this feud overall because it's against Lexis King, and Lexis King doesn't win feuds or much. But it's good to give Miles Bourne something to do here because it's crowded in other places right now. There's a lot going on with the North American Championship at the moment. There's a lot going on up at the NXT title right now. And I don't know that we want to get him wrapped up into that speed business. But this is a good place right now. Good TV program. Solid. Enjoying it. Can't complain about it. But all right. So ahead of the break, Tavion Heights made his entrance for the flag match that he was. I don't know why I said it like that. For the flag match that he was to have with All Ego Ethan Page coming up after the break. As we returned, All Ego Ethan Page made his entrance. Very proud, very Canadian. Ready to win a flag match. And guys, I meant to mention this. I skipped over the segment on accident. They did have a NXT focus earlier that did talk about the history of the flag match and the rules of the flag match, explaining, of course, that one combatant had to get his flag and waste it proudly there. But this is good. This is good. It's gimmicky as hell. I think I might have said this last week, but I believe the last time we had a flag match, it was Cena and Rusev. But yeah, fine. The crowd was into it. Got a USA chant. It's they do this gimmick still. It's 2025 and we're still doing it. I said this last week. If you're going to do this and it's going to work, do it with an Olympic athlete. Solid. But yeah, good match here. Tavion Heights ends up getting the victory. 6 minutes 53 seconds. And then after he was able to retrieve the American flag, he then draped the Canadian flag over All Ego Ethan Page. And yeah, left off to celebrate. So I would assume that this will, grant him in the future a North American championship match, as he has now defeated the champion. Right? I mean, that's generally how that sort of thing works. So, guys, as cool as it is that Tavion won the match and he should be getting a future title shot, I was stunned at what happened next. The music hit, and we had the return of one of my personal favorite black and gold era NXT wrestlers. Tyler Breeze made his way to the ring, selfie stick in hand. Prince Pretty, y'all, rolls into the ring, takes a selfie with the unconscious Ethan Page. Oh my goodness. I was so excited for this. Huge fan of Tyler Breeze. Not just because there's not a ton of wrestlers named Tyler. Just part of it, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, oh my God. Fantastic. So excited for that. Um, yeah, and this is actually we'll have had an announcement later tonight about this a match that this is going to set up. But yeah, the crowd gave a huge response as Tyler Breeze here. I think a surprisingly loud pop, honestly, which was good. I'm always glad when someone that I'm a fan of gets a loving reaction as the supermodel Prince Pretty did here tonight. But yeah, so looking forward to that. So he will be back next week, and I'll talk a little later about what he'll be doing. But from there, we had a spotlight vignette on Lola Vice. Again, second week in a row, we had one of these. And again, this is kind of building towards her NXT championship match against JC Jane coming up at No Mercy. I like these. It's given a lot of insight into her personal life, and I think that is it's important for a babyface. I said that last week. I like these vignettes. I like getting to know people this way. It helps endear them to the audience, and just makes that championship win all the sweeter and all the better. Ahead of the main event, we had Fatal Influence in the locker room, which was glitching with Zaria's entrance video, which I thought was kind of funny as they were talking. But yeah, they were just getting hyped up for tonight's main event. JC Jane saying again that she was the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. And that who'd have thought that, this is where they'd be with her as champion and Fatal Influence soon to be the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions after winning this match. But yeah, Fatal Influence getting hyped up here, and we were just about into main event time from here. And ahead of the break, we had ZaRuca, Zaria, and ZaRuca making their entrance. This is reminiscent of David Lee Roth, Just Jump. But I say this a little bit, man. ZaRuca's so over, and I love the mashup of their theme song. I enjoy the mixing of it, and I'm going to enjoy it while I can. We'll see why I say that. So the Culling got their entrance during the break because as we returned from break, we had Fatal Influence finishing their entrance. So from there, the match was underway, and this was absolutely fantastic. Bell to bell. This was a wild, physical, fantastic triple threat elimination tag team match. And I want to stress that y'all know me, especially those of you that have been watching for a while. You know that I'm not big on triple threats, fatal four ways, that sort of thing. I like traditional matches. Give me a tag, give me a one-on-one, whatever. But when you're doing these triple threats, these multi-team matches, hell yes, make it elimination. I loved it. And actually, I'm so used to them not making it elimination, I forgot that it was even an elimination match until around the 10-minute mark when I think Vic Joseph actually said, no one's been eliminated yet. I love that aspect of it. I would like to see them start to do this a lot more going forward. I genuinely would. To me, it's better. I like it. Now, as I said, it's around that 10-minute mark or so when Vic reminded me, and probably a lot of the viewers at home, that this was an elimination match. And our first elimination was coming around about the 12.5-minute mark when ZaRuca inadvertently snatched the soul of her own teammate Zaria and Jazmyn Nix was able to cover Zaria for the 3, eliminating ZaRuca from this match and dashing their hopes at getting a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. After this, JC Jane absolutely elated that Jazmyn was, wrong picture, that Jazmyn was able to get the cover there and keep Fatal Influence in the running for that championship opportunity. But just a couple more minutes into the match, and the Culling ended up getting the victory here tonight, which I was surprised and not surprised, to be completely honest. But I'm here for it. It makes sense that they won. I mean, I was a little surprised, honestly, because they didn't get an entrance. I feel like typically if you're not the one getting the entrance, you're not winning the match. But yeah, this just works more towards the inevitable implosion of Fatal Influence. So I understand it from that perspective. And hey, again, it's spooky season, so why not have the Culling win here tonight? Izzi and Tatum Paxley getting the win in 14 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, guys, just great match from start to finish. Absolutely loved it. If you only have time to watch one match from NXT this week, if you're that packed and your schedule's that busy, you've got 15 minutes. Watch this one. You won't regret it. But yeah, so after that, everyone left the ring except for Fatal Influence, and JC Jane just started to tear down Fallon Henley and Jazmyn Nick, saying that she told them that she didn't care who dropped the ball, that she was failed by both of them. And as she was starting to scream at them about things, they showed a car pulling up into the parking lot. And the show went to a commercial break, with that being the hook for, I guess, what would be the main event segment. So as we came back from break, JC was still in the ring, and she was still complaining, and she was maintaining and decreeing that there is no way the Fatal Influence wouldn't be part of Homecoming next week. And she said she's sick and tired of carrying Fatal Influence on her back, and that she's tired of the lack of respect that she's getting, that she doesn't need applause or the respect of anyone. She's the greatest champion of all time, which she kind of contradicted herself there. But as she's calling herself the greatest champion of all time, she was interrupted by Stephanie Vaquer to a massive pop from the crowd. The crowd was thrilled to see Stephanie. Stephanie, who couldn't make it to Raw last night, but she made it here tonight for NXT. Shows where her priorities are. Good on you, Steph. Good on you. But Stephanie Vaquer made her appearance here tonight. Again, huge surprise. The crowd was amped here. And she said that at WrestlePalooza, she's going to become champion once again. And she, was running down Fatal Influence here. And JC Jane told her that there's 3 of them and 1 of her, and that she knows how this goes. And Stephanie told her to shut up, in Spanish, mind you. And she then asked if JC knew what time it was. And this summoned Tiffany Stratton, WWE Women's Champion, again, to the elation of the crowd. Tiffany Stratton getting a huge pop here. Tiffy said that it was great to be home. And she, liked to plug in the fact here that she is the longest reigning champion in the company currently. JC Jane, in true Mean Girl fashion, said that the way she sees this right now is that the 2 of them, meaning Tiffany and Stephanie, that they're just super seniors, just trying to be cool, coming back to high school, just strutting around and trying to be cool, and even though they've graduated already. And Tiffany Stratton said that she didn't know how mommy was going to would be reacting to being called a super senior. And the crowd just erupted as Vic Joseph, demanded to know, are you serious? Is this for real? And of course, that brings out Rhea Ripley into the Performance Center. And oh my God, the crowd was just absolutely raucous at this point. And Rhea got in a few words here. And, they established that next week, the 3 of them would be taking on Fatal Influence. And they had some quick fisticuffs here before the show went off the air. And as NXT was going off the air, they plugged that we were getting in a North American Championship match next week. All Ego Ethan Page and Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty, is back in action. And also in tag team action, DIY taking on Carmelo Hayes and TNA champion Trick Williams. God, that's going to be fantastic as well. We are going to have a Grayson Waller Effect segment next week. The Grayson Waller Effect returning to NXT for the Homecoming with special guests Obafemi and Ricky Saints. So that is going to be wild and a lot of fun. And it was announced, I believe, as it was going off air, that we will in 6-woman tag beginning Fatal Influence taking on Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, and Tiffany Stratton next week. Yo, Homecoming is going to be fantastic. NXT is fantastic every week, but Homecoming is just, they're putting a lot into it. They're going to be at Full Sail University, getting, several members of the Black and Gold era back into the mix for that event. And I'm sure that we'll have more surprises next week as well. I don't see how we wouldn't. It is NXT, and they are plugging the hell out of this. Looking forward to it. Very, very excited. Guys, also excited, on a personal note, I just want to talk about this. They discussed some upcoming NXT events tonight on air. I talked about this last week as Vic Joseph announced it on Twitter. that the developmental brand was going to be making their way back to parts unknown Ohio, that is Columbus, my backyard, this October. And they announced officially yesterday via the socials for NXT that the tickets were going to be going on sale tomorrow with pre-sale today. And your friendly neighborhood pro wrestling hipster this morning was able to snag a couple of ringside seats for the upcoming NXT show here in Columbus, Ohio. Super excited about that. Thursday, October 9th. So I'm assuming this is a house show. Hella excited about it. This is also going to be my wife's first live wrestling event ever. So I'm dragging my wife to this. So it's gonna be a good time, guys. Really, really looking forward to it. But yeah, I have not been to a live NXT event for 10 years. It was March of 2015, which feels like so long ago, in the middle of the black and gold era. That was during the Arnold Fitness Expo here in Columbus. It was at the LC Pavilion. It's actually at the same venue. It is now called Kimball Live, but it is the same building, but it has changed names several times in a decade. Gosh, what a long time ago it was when last I saw NXT in person. Kevin Owens was NXT champion. Alexa Bliss was still a fairy. Goodness. Alex Riley was still in the company. Hideo Itami was still in the company. Finn Balor was still in NXT. God, different time, guys. Different time. But really looking forward to that. Had to get that in there. But guys, that's the program tonight. So I think it's time to talk about our NXT jobber of the night. Jobber of the night, guys. Jobber of the night. You know, I had a couple options here this evening. And I weighed that back and forth, and I hate to do this to them because I don't feel that it's even completely their fault that this happened. But unfortunately I have to give Jobber of the Night to one of my favorite tag teams, Hank and Tank. My guys couldn't get it done tonight. It wasn't 100% their fault. They had a distraction in the way of Joe Hendry, but it still didn't help. They lost the match. That was their rematch clause. I can't imagine they're going to get another shot anytime soon here. And that makes me sad. But yeah, so I went a little kayfabe with that, I guess. But I had to go with Hank and Tank. That makes me a little sad that I did that. But it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. But so from the sadness of the jobber of the night, let's hop into the NXT megastar of the night. Oh, guys, the megastar. Or should I say megastars? So I couldn't just pick one of the teams that was involved in this. I picked the main event tonight. The triple threat elimination match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship between ZaRuca, The Culling, and Fatal Influence. This match fired on all cylinders. It was just absolutely fantastic action, bell to bell. I like that it furthered multiple angles, multiple storylines. Everybody, served their role. Everybody hit every beat they needed to. And, honestly, I think the right team won when you come down to it. I look forward to seeing the Culling get this tag title shot. And I think the Culling could do it. I think they could be the ones to bring it back to NXT because no one thinks they can. No one expects it. I didn't expect them to win this match, to be honest. And I think in my logical brain is telling me they're not going to win the belts, but maybe they will. Maybe they can be the ones to bring it back to NXT. But guys, that is NXT tonight, and I want to thank y'all for tuning in live and in demand, if that's how you're watching. We appreciate that. But if you enjoyed yourself tonight, and I hope you did, Molly, don't yawn. We're doing the plugs. I've got some great news for you, guys. Dirt Sheet Radio is not just here on Tuesday nights. No. Wrong. There we go. Took a second. Guys, Dirt Sheet Radio. We are not just here on Tuesday nights breaking down NXT. No. Dirt Sheet Radio is live multiple times a week breaking down professional wrestling and chatting with y'all as we like to do. Guys, we are obviously live on Tuesday nights talking NXT, and we will be back next week with more NXT for y'all. And we are live on Wednesday nights, guys. You can check out the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship program, which also includes a discussion of AEW Dynamite. 2 shows for the price of 1, which is nothing. It is free, like all of our content here at Dirt Sheet Radio. And guys, on Thursday nights, be sure to check out the TNA Impact Rewind. That is our sister program. Check that out every week, guys, as they break down and discuss all the going-ons in TNA. And Fridays are, of course, built for SmackDown when we can. Guys, and hey, on the weekends, I have some exciting news. I think you guys know this. We talked about it a little bit, but this weekend, guys, coming back, we are returning. It is CJ and Tyler's Weekend Wrestling Roundup with a W. We're coming back this weekend, September 14th. We'll be discussing professional wrestling and many topics. Check it out. We are so amped to be back and doing the show again. And also this weekend, be sure to check out the 3NT crew as they break down and discuss the week of professional wrestling in only the way they can every single Sunday. And guys, I thank you again for tuning in live tonight. I appreciate it. Molly appreciates it. Please give Dirt Sheet Radio a follow on all social media platforms. And after you've done that, if you could give me, Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, a follow over on Facebook. That's where we do most of our things. And I mean, I'm on Instagram and on Twitter, but I'm not doing much on those other than spooky stuff on Instagram. But yeah, the Pro Wrestling Hipster over on Facebook, Dirt Sheet Radio on all social media platforms. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And yeah, Dirt Sheet Radio will be live again tomorrow. Dirt Sheet Radio will be live Thursday night. We'll be back this weekend. CJ and I, the Weekend Wrestling Roundup. We're coming back 3NT Sunday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. We'll see you guys again real soon. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you so much.